Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're here again for my next life as a villainess. This series has really given me a lot of joy last year, this year with the exception, the giant exception, but it really has kind of brought that back, and yeah, I'm hoping it goes forward, but I don't know, this may not be a super joyful episode. On one hand, I hope it will be because I assume this is going to be the end of Keith's incarceration. Well, maybe not incarceration. It's only incarceration if the state does it? Who knows? End of Keith's kidnapping situation, and that his terrible birth family will get what they deserve. I don't know what that would be, but some sort of punishment for treating Keith terribly, and that we'll get Keith back and everything will be okay. On the other hand, yeah, that's not as fun as like, let's see everyone's fantasy in a dollhouse. So, yeah, I don't know. So let's get into it. I hope it's gonna be great. And if you've enjoyed what you heard so far, please consider giving this video a like, comment, or subscribe. It would really help our channel grow, and I'd really appreciate it. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, hi Maria. What's the bear doing? Isn't the bear at least pointing in a direction? Alexander, pick up your skills. You distracted easily? What is happening? Oh wow, Geordo. That's embarrassing. He's simping. You don't have the rank to do this, Ish, and you need to get out of the frame. Oh my god, Mary is the best, but you're using the wrong tool, Mary. I think the way that Mary interacts is very similar to Geordo, so maybe not the best, but I do appreciate that she functionally serves as a great shield. You rely on him? I appreciate this rooming situation. Oh, Lorna's there. Well, she's gone now. But the bear is still there. Hi, Alexander. I love you, but I want you gone right now. I love this dynamic so much. Cute, yeah. And she's just okay with it. She's like, yeah, bring everyone. Blushing. I love how the camera is removing the distance between their beds to make it look like they're lying next to each other, you know, like symbolically. It's great. Oh. They're framed so romantically. I love them so much. Is this like a cell phone? We know a little bit about her father. Didn't know that before. Seriously, can we get a check-in on Keith? Where is he?
ジョルド様にプレゼントをいただいて、それからカタリナ、それは書かない方がみんな大慌てでここまで追ってきそうですから。このクマめ、いいこと思いついた。
Love that face. Oh dear. Oh, that is very intimate. Oh, Keith.
普通ならこんなところに何日も閉じ込められて暴力を振るわれ続ければおかしくなってしまう。
Constant?
あなたには私の実験台になってもらうことにしたわ。実験台？そう、闇の魔法のね。
That is beautiful animation.
僕はまだこんなところで死ぬわけにはいかない。僕にはまだすることがある。
Will this make him like want to confess his feelings after he gets home? Come on, Keith. Stay with us.
本当はこの旅でもっとアプローチする予定だったんですが、今回は抑えておきましょうか。それにせっかく自覚したのにすっかり忘れているみたいですからね。今はここまでにしておきます。
Imposing boundaries on himself rather than accepting ones, but okay, better than nothing.
いやー、おはようございます。
おはよう、ソラ。
ソラ、このくらい見逃してくれてもいいと思うのですが、任務ですのでそれだけではない気がしますけどね。いえいえ、まさか。
He is a prince. How are you even allowed to lay hands on him at the behest of a lesser noble? I mean, I don't agree with this sort of society, but I know how it works. Oh, just sucks.
違うものでおどろおどろしくてとても怖くて、落ち着いた。はい、子供の頃キースにもよくこうしてたな。怖い夢を見たキースの手を握って二人で布団に入って、闇の魔法、誘拐、何が何だかよくわからない。
You and me both, Catarina. Oh, that's not the end. Oh, no, not again. Let's skip ahead to see if there's a after credit scene. No after credit scene. No, nothing. I thought this was going to help resolve the Keith plot, but it's worse. Well, it's not worse than it was last week. At least last week we saw him getting beaten and that was terrible. But this time he's maybe being possessed by dark magic or tortured by dark magic. Why are you doing this to my boy? Why are you doing this to Keith? Why was Keith chosen? Huh? Why was Keith chosen for this nonsense? It's terrible. Why couldn't it have been Raphael? I don't know. Not that I don't like Raphael, but at least it's not Keith. What's happening? The let's get into the breakdown. I've already started. Okay. Let's try to just break this up logically. I'm going to do visuals since they're what I know least about. Then let's talk about character relationships, particularly the shipping ones, since that's what the entire show is about. Then let's talk about this key plotline. Okay, so visuals. I continue to love the visuals of this show. The anime industry is just doing such amazing things with both like the underlying animation and with the compositing, I believe is what it's called when you like add the lighting effects. It's just producing these really gorgeous pieces of art, and I wish we had anything comparable in the United States. And I say that even though we don't even do our own animation here. I think we may do some like 3D animation here in the country, but like a lot of the 2D animation is really happening in Asia, even when it's for an American show. But still, like American board artists and like, I don't know, I should know more about the animation industry than I do, but like everyone who goes into making the visuals for animation, it's still very much like held back, I feel, honestly. I'm sorry, but I have to say like it's held back by our lineage of cartoons being things for kids and that were like super easy to sketch and were exaggerated. And like a lot of anime is exaggerated too, so I don't know exactly what I'm getting at, but like it's exaggerated to express a different, like a full range of emotions versus being exaggerated to express just like goofiness sometimes, slapstick humor, and there isn't as much of a focus on just creating like beautiful images. I think we've seen some in like features. I can definitely remember, you know, the Disney Renaissance, Child of the Disney Renaissance. You had like a lot of beautiful images created in 2D feature Disney films. I don't think we've seen that level of beauty created in other American 2D projects. Maybe I'm wrong. If anyone can think of an example, that'd be great. But yeah, like the artistry of animation is not, there's no equivalent to what Japan is doing right now, and to a lesser extent Korea. I shouldn't say to a lesser extent, like some Korean studios are doing amazing work, but yeah, I would just love to see more of it. I'd love to see more of it for American shows, and that we like seriously invested in the artistry of this medium because it's great. And I don't dislike 3D projects. I really loved Raya and the Last Dragon. I thought that was gorgeous. I loved the movement. Like what I love about animation is it's like a mixture of visual art and movement, and I love movement. I have a movement background. And so I especially love just like things like fight scenes and how you can convey movement through animation. I think is gorgeous. Why I loved Avatar when it was first coming out, first airing, and especially Legend of Korra, which is by Studio Mir. And I love like some of the newer projects we've gotten to see from Studio Mir, like Dota Dragon's Blood, I think it's called. I've only seen one episode of the show. I want to watch more of it. But I love how beautiful it is, even if the story might be a little hit or miss. I've seen 2 episodes of the show, I guess. I saw him, nope, that's spoilers. But yeah, I would just love to see more beautiful 2D projects coming out of the States, and maybe even like being made in the States. I know a lot of young people who are interested in animation, and it's weird, like one of the first things I have to say is like we don't actually really animate here. You can create the character designs, you can create the storyboards, but like the actual clips of animation are going to be done somewhere else. But maybe the compositing gets to happen here where you can like put it all together. But yeah. So anyway, those are the visuals. I'm really loving the visuals of this season. I don't remember the visuals being so obviously gorgeous last season, and I maybe like they were still beautiful, but they didn't have this compositing factor where they were like really cool lighting effects, but I definitely am noticing them this year. And especially with that dark magic scene, the cellar was really, really cool. All right, so next, character relationships. Let's start with Catarina x Geordo, since that one got some exploration this episode. What to say that I haven't already said? Geordo continues to ride the line. He's stepped over the line and that made me hate him. He seems to be like right on the right side of the line right now, but the fact that he's still so close to it and he still likes pushing boundaries just makes my skin crawl. And so I'm like, boy, you are trying everything to get this girl to like you, except that maybe she doesn't like you. If he actually came to the decision that, yo, she doesn't have feelings for me, so I'm gonna move on, and then like half a season down the road, she realizes she does have feelings for him, and then something starts then, like I would be sympathetic to it. But this constant like, she clearly doesn't have feelings for you. She's expressed this multiple ways other than just, I think maybe even at some point she may have just flat out said she doesn't feel that way. And you just don't want to hear her. You just don't want to hear it. So, you know, that's shitty. And it's not that I'm not sympathetic to people who experience this in real life. I have definitely been in this situation myself. I think that young men, at least in America, I'm guessing to a certain extent in Japan, since this is here, are taught that you can win the love of women and it's a matter of perseverance. So just like there's all these other stories about masculine perseverance, especially in like shonen anime, right? Of just like persevering and getting better at the thing that you want to do and being the greatest. Like if you see romance as that same sort of epic quest where if you just put in enough, you'll eventually get to the outcome that you want. So seeing it as like a quest for you instead of a relationship that needs to be built between two people with 2 willing participants or more. Then of course you would have this mindset of, oh, I haven't achieved my goal yet, but if I keep trying, then I'll get there. And there can even be like a pure-hearted almost mindset behind it, where like if you applied that to other areas of your life, like becoming the best at a certain sort of sport, and you're just like, if I just work hard enough and I have the will and I persevere, then and like through my struggles, then I will reach my own personal goals that I've set for myself. Like that can be a healthy mindset, but it's not a healthy mindset for romance. And so I just like, I dislike how he's engaging with this relationship, and I just wish it wasn't. I really feel like the show is trying to like, and so many other media tries to show it as a good thing of men pursuing relationships in this single-minded, single-person focused way, instead of like being collaborative and realizing that you have to build, and if you don't have a partner building with you, then you don't have anything. You know, that's it. It doesn't, like, it's a multiplier. Relationships are a multiplier. So 1 times 0 is 0. There's no relationship, dude, if there's no investment from the other person. So I can be sympathetic to people who are in this situation in real life, but I'm not as sympathetic to a media portrayal, because this is media. These aren't real people. These are characters that artists are choosing to put on screen and are choosing to frame in certain ways. And we don't really see Geordo facing consequences for the way that he's behaving. So that sucks. Let's go with Catarina x Mary. There wasn't a lot here, but the fact that Mary sent Sora to act as a buffer between Catarina and Geordo. Mary's protectiveness is amusing, but if I were to be fair, she has the same sort of possessiveness that Geordo has. She just has less of a position to act on it from. So context matters. Her being a woman, her not having the position to act on it in the way that Geordo does matters, and it does make me feel differently about it. She literally does not have the social standing to impose her will and her desires onto Catarina. And so I don't feel as skeeved out by the way that Mary acts. But I will say it's not ideal that she works around Catarina and never works with Catarina directly. Same thing about like the relationship. Like, how about you develop a relationship with Catarina instead of constantly playing defense against all the other love interests? You know, if you're actually serious about this relationship, then you need to build it with Catarina. You can't just keep blocking everybody else. So, you know, I don't think the show's gonna go with Mary being endgame, but I hope at some point we get, you know, some something where Mary gets to express how she feels and interact with Catarina directly and not constantly kind of have her defensiveness and her ability to cockblock everyone else be the constant joke. So there's that. Let's go with Catarina X Sora. You know, when he, like I said this when he was first introduced, if you split his character up into just who he is versus who he is as a love interest, I like half the character. Like I can like him fine just as like this urgent turned Department of Magic Skion. Like I wish he had a little bit more fire and fight in him for the way that he has been treated, but you know, it's cool. But him as a love interest is just so bad, and it was reminded of it in this episode where, again, the minute he gets alone with her, he's pushing into her space, he's talking about how vulnerable she is, with the implication that he could like take her whenever he wants. I'm just like, oh, this is so bad. Please stop writing this, and please get him off the screen. Please, I'm gonna actively actually separate this character into two. You can't do that with real people. They're one person. You can't separate out their bad actions from their good ones. But you know, it makes up who they are. But like Sora as Urchin is bland but okay, and Sora as love interest needs to not be on the show. And so up until now, since that first episode, we've seen Sora as Urchin, and it's been okay, whatever. He's kind of a boring background character, but been good enough. And like Mary using him as a tool to get in between Catarina and Geordo and to like stop Geordo's advances, kind of amusing. Sora as love interest is trash and needs to be thrown in the garbage. Okay, moving on. Then you have Catarina X Maria, and that's gold. I love it. It's so good. It's so like. At this point, if Catarina and Maria aren't endgame, it's gonna be because of the straight agenda. And I don't say that as a joke. Like, it's gonna be because homosexuality and depictions of homosexuality in like just happy kind of fairy tale romance plots and stories is just not acceptable. And so the industry and the market will not accept it. Like maybe there's a huge fan base, like I don't know who's watching the show in Japan and who they have to appease, but if they see their fan base as like mostly straight women, for example, then they may be like, there may be pressure to be like, oh, she has to end up with Geordo. Like at this point, it would be like industry and societal pressure because the story is clearly set up for them to be endgame. They have the closest relationship. They have the most equitable relationship. They are really good matches for one another. And I'm not saying that like Catarina developed romantic feelings for Maria in this episode. I think she's always had a crush on Maria. You see it like from the moment that Maria is introduced, like Catarina constantly sees her as cute and like projects her own feelings onto the boys, being like Maria is so lovable, how could no one fall in love with her? Or double negative. How couldn't anyone fall in love with her? What am I trying to say? The boys must be in love with her is what she was saying. She was like, Maria is so amazing that the boys must be in love with her, right? So you see Catarina kind of projecting her feelings for Maria onto other people early on. You've seen Catarina just kind of be starstruck by how, like when Maria looks at her sometimes, like she did in episode 1. And so the only other person that she's even kind of expressed that sort of feeling towards, ironically, is like Nicole, where she has been starstruck by his beauty, but it's also been well established in the world that everyone reacts that way to Nicole, so it's not like something special about how Catarina feels about Nicole. So like, Maria's the only person that she has feelings for, even if that's not something that even if she doesn't put it in that framework at this moment. And like, Maria clearly cares for Catarina. They all do. Like their feelings have been established, like all the love interests. I don't think you have to argue about that. But as I've said many times, like I also like that she matches Catarina really well. The things that she wants out of life are similar to the things that Catarina wants out of life. And you can easily see them ending up on a farm and just being happy and both being fulfilled in what they would like to do with their life and what they care about, without anyone having to sacrifice large sections of their personhood in order to be with the other. And so yeah, I just appreciate their relationship and I'm rooting for it, and I hope that it isn't ruined by market trends. So yeah. And then I guess the last relationship that we could look into is Catarina x Keith, and how we got to hear about how intimate their relationship has been. I feel a little bit uncomfortable with that actually, because I love that their relationship is so intimate and that she so very openly cares for him and he openly cares for her, but he has very different feelings for her than she has for him, and he has indulged in this intimacy without making those feelings known. I wouldn't say it's not the worst thing, but I do feel like, I guess like they were talking about when they were kids that they would like sleep in bed next to each other and they would hold each other's hands. You're kids, that's cool. I don't think that has continued till this day, and that's fine, but like if he did use their relationship as brother, sister, as two young people who live in the same household and have been raised and being raised in the same household, let's go with that, as leverage to get closer to her and to have his emotional needs filled without being honest about what he's trying to get from that relationship, that would be not great. And I think that's one of the worries with the Keith-Catarina relationship. So I appreciate that he like found a lot of strength in thinking that like I have to persevere because there's someone who cares for me and someone who I care about, and I need to get back to them. And hopefully he comes through this. I mean, I know he will, it's not that sort of show, but yeah. But I do hope that he's a little bit more honest on the other side. I think that's what they're setting up. That like he's gonna have gone through this whole thing and then have to be honest about how he feels. And that will make Catarina's life super awkward, but I think it'd be better. Like it'd be a step in a healthier direction for them. So yeah, last thing to talk about is Keith's kidnapping situation. What is with this dark magic and why is it different than the dark magic we've seen in the past? That's disconcerting. I feel like Alexander should be more useful than he has been, but at least he pointed to a mansion, so that's great. On the dark magic thing though, I'm just very concerned because Maria was like very scared, and that makes me scared. So good job. They got me to feel the thing they wanted me to feel, which is a good cheat. Like if you want the audience to feel something, have one of the characters they're connected to feel it, and empathetically we might feel that same thing too. So I can't believe that we did not get the conclusion to this whole situation this episode. Hopefully next episode they can't drag it on longer than that, right? Which then makes me wonder, what's the finale gonna be? Like, did they only have 11 episodes this season? Or are there gonna be 13? I'm pretty sure there were 13 last season. So like, you've had this big arc here for these episodes. So what's gonna happen in episode 12 and 13? I don't know. I don't know how it's being structured here. Yeah, so anyway, those are my thoughts, and I'll see you next week. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this reaction and breakdown, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Please give the video a like, comment, share with your friends, help my channel grow. I would love to do more of these and just share my thoughts on more stories with you. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.